Hello fellow YouTubers, this is Dave of TGW, abbreviation for the Garden Warrior, and today I'm going to be talking about my belief in why PvZ Garden Warfare 2 is an underrated video game. You're probably asking yourself why I think that. You must believe me when I say I have my reasons. So let's get on with the discussion, shall we? First off, I want to state the obvious truth that we can all agree on. Garden Warfare 2 had a troubled launch. While many people were quick to cast aspersions on PopCap for not fixing every problem in the game early on, you should realize by now that they had a tight production schedule and had genuinely put a lot of hard work into making a video game with more content at launch than its precursor ever had. Bugs and glitches are to be expected, but they didn't ruin the game, did they? Yes and no. But people took to Twitter and Reddit and vented their anger at the developers for not working hard enough to meet their expectations. That's not what I expected when it came to the effort that PopCap put their time and money to. I expected a zany shooter. Many of these cynical people set their expectations way too high for a small video game studio to create a shooter that would resemble others of the day, such as Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and Halo 5 Guardians. Guys, if you're not over it, just chill already. Now, about Garden Warfare 2's technical problems. Perhaps it was the big issues of the game at the time that may have driven away much of its fanbase. Anyone remember the long wait times you had sitting through a black screen as you waited to join in on multiplayer? It was easy to avoid. You could have just jumped in on solo play because the problem wasn't even there. And what about the character balancing? Yes, there was a bit of an issue there too. But what PopCap did in response to the complaints in their first series of patches was to nerf characters that, at the time, didn't need a nerf. Or did they? The Plumber was already seriously nerfed in Garden Warfare 1. But he was nerfed to the point to where the extra splash radius and damage of his plunge shot weapon was greatly reduced. And don't get me started on All-Star and Tennis Star, their nerfs were somewhat unfair too. But that's getting off point, because those are only my opinions and that isn't the subject of this video. So why was there so much fuss in the community? Keep in mind that people were taking the vast majority of their complaints not on the campaign and whatnot, but strictly on the multiplayer. Yes, I enunciated that last word to put emphasis on it, because it's usually the only feature that most players care for in video games these days. So I think. From all I've seen on social media, they are not pleased with it. Obviously due to noobs, for the most part. Yet the alternative was simple. Solo play is far more versatile, fun, and stress-free. And I really do mean it. I found the AI to be quite challenging. But not in the same way human players were. At least the former couldn't all uniformly be Electrobrainses or barbecue corns. Yeah. Let's move on to another touchy topic. The negative fan reception to the map design. Ugh. Normally I don't want to say anything about that, but for this video, I have to. I admit, there were some faults with the map design, likely due to rushed production. But there's more aesthetic to them than function, because PopCap is trying to further immerse you into their peculiar world of PvZ. And I love the colorful designs and hidden secrets in them. What I think is going on for these vitriolic fans who didn't appreciate the map direction is that they're probably super casual gamers who hold high expectations for everything, but allow themselves to be let down and never take the game for what it is. It's saddening that they do not, or cannot, appreciate PopCap's hard work that they've put into making this game. In my book, the maps are just fine, with 3 minor exceptions to the turf takeover ones. Exception 1. The teleporters are almost always too close to the enemy's spawn zones. Exception 2. Most multiplayer sessions never proceed after the second garden or tombstone. Exception 3. The reason for exception 2 is that the defender's spawn zones are too close to the objective in most cases. So why don't we all go do solo play instead and enjoy the full map more often, huh? Let's move on. Now, I need to mention that there's a belief that I've held for quite some time, and it's crucial to my discussion. I believe that PopCap has spent no more than 12 or maybe 14 months working on Garden Warfare 2. For a video game, that is a very short production period, but who knows how long it took to work on the art direction, map design, coding, etc. before the beta even came out. I can think of at least one other video game that had similar production issues. Star Wars KOTOR 2, perhaps? Anyway, why they released the game in February 2016 is also somewhat of a mystery to me. But perhaps not now with this example I will cite. Let's bring up the KOTOR 2 example, shall we? Obsidian Entertainment, its developer, was only given 12 months to program and then released Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2: The Sith Lords because LucasArts, their distributor, wanted them to release it for holiday 2004, a little more than a year after its precursor was released. Obsidian requested an extension on their development, but LucasArts denied the request due to upcoming competition, including with their own other video game based on Revenge of the Sith. So Obsidian was forced to drop a number of features they originally implemented into the game, including several important plot points throughout the story. However, a few years later, a group of hardcore fans restored the removed content to complete the work Obsidian could not finish. This made the already great despite being broken game even more enjoyable. Might I add that, in its original release, KOTOR 2 suffered from many game-killing bugs. Speculation. A similar event has happened here between PopCap and its parent company, Electronic Arts. And I'm totally unbiased, by the way, so I'm not gonna slander EA like anybody else would. This is just a deductive theory. I've theorized that something has happened between PopCap and EA during Garden Warfare 2's early production. Upon the success of PvZ Garden Warfare 1, EA pressured PopCap to develop a sequel to be released exactly 2 years after the original. After the final DLC for Garden Warfare 1, Legends of the Lawn, was released in September, production immediately began for Garden Warfare 2. PopCap had many ideas throughout their short production history, but were forced to drop many of them due to time constraints. For example, the Trials of Nomus, the 8th character classes, and more. PopCap had probably requested for an extension, to which EA promptly denied due to upcoming competition with their own titles and others, including Battleborn, Overwatch, and other IPs. Maybe I'm wrong, but that doesn't deny the fact that, as I've already said, that there were many bugs and multiplayer imbalances that were present at the game's launch as a result of a rushed production. All of these factors may have done considerable harm to the game in the long run, but still in all, why are people taking this game so seriously when the PopCap producers said at the game's reveal at E3 that this was a game that doesn't take itself too seriously? The hypocrisy runs deep, doesn't it? Or is it something else? I don't know. But guys, please keep in mind that this game is rated E10 and up because it's made for kids and for their enjoyment. This game wasn't just to entreat to hardcore shooter gamers. But still, did you expect PopCap to outdo themselves for the sequel? Perhaps, or perhaps not. Either way, the game would have been underrated, regardless for what would have happened, even if it had a later release date, or was fixed sooner, because, like KOTOR 2 before it, some sequels are proven to be superior, but they don't get the attention that they deserve. It's the way they work. It's a sad thing indeed. I'll leave you with a final thought. For all that they've done to give us this game, we must be supportive of PopCap. We, as a community, cannot keep harassing them to give in to our senseless whininess and constant demands. Me and most of my Twitter acquaintances can agree on this. Would you? Anyway, after such a lengthy discussion, I personally thank you for watching this video. As always, subscribe if you haven't yet. It's just one click or tap away. And be sure to stay tuned for more zany PvZ awesomeness. My name is Dave, and until next time.